Reporting live for Ghouls Television. Today I'm live in the studio with my co-host Brianne and Carey. We're going to be doing a special on first aid. First aid is help given to a sick or injured person until full medical assistance becomes available.
So today here we have an actual first aid kit, and in it you will find all the instruments you need, such as ice pack, bandages, antiseptics, wound dressings, adhesive bandages, and other different bigger bandages for more serious injuries.
So it's kind of a long story of how we came to want to do a segment on first aid, but it all started earlier this week when myself and Brianne were out in the woods filming another segment for On the Go in the Ghouls, when we came across a young man who was injured in the woods, and we decided that it was definitely something we needed to talk about. First aid is very important. What kind of trees do you want to use for the biology project?
I don't know, maybe coniferous,
Brianne, is that somebody's feet?
Oh my god, it is. Hi, I'm Brianne. I'm a first aider. Do you need our help?
Yes, please. Yeah, I was out getting some firewood and I rolled my ankle. Someone please
Okay,
call
don't
911.
Don't move. We're going to just put this under your head. Stabilize your neck. Get comfortable. Okay, so what happened? Do you know what day it is?
Wednesday.
What knee is it?
It's my left ankle.
Your left ankle. Okay, Brianne, call 911 and contact, who's your parents?
My mother's name is Geraldine.
And what's your name?
Steven.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you know the phone numbers?
Yes, I know my mother's work number.
Okay, we're going to call 911.
She works at the hospital.
Be calm. It's going to be okay.
You may have noted in the previous clip, as we immediately ran up to the injured man, I said, "Hi, my name is Brianne, I'm a first aider." This is to make sure that we get his consent to help him, and also to let him know that I'm first aid certified, and to make sure that he is conscious.
Some other key points you may have noticed was I immediately rolled up my jacket and put it under his neck to make sure it was stabilized. I then asked him if he knew what day it was. When he responded with the correct answer, I moved on and told him that we were going to contact medical assistance immediately. I then made sure that he knew he was going to be okay. Earlier this week, we had the pleasure of catching up with two young men from the Ghouls who were going on a camping trip for the weekend. So they let us tag along, and this is what we found.
And how about those Blackhawks? I can't believe they came back in the third period. Went Sammy Goff.
Man, we gotta stop.
What's wrong with you, man?
Feeling really tired.
Take a seat. What's wrong? You dizzy?
Yeah.
Here, man, I got a water bottle here. I think you might be suffering from a little dehydration. We'll take a little break now. We'll get going again after you finish that water.
In the previous clip, we see a case of mild dehydration. Stephen did the right thing when he sat Jordan down and gave him a bottle of water after Jordan explained that he was not feeling well. Jordan was experiencing mild dehydration. Signs and symptoms include thirst, dry mouth and skin, fatigue, increased heart rate or breathing, lightheadedness, dizziness, and confusion.
The way to deal with first aid of mild dehydration is for the person to drink 2 quarts of fluid, including water, juice, and sports drinks, in 2 to 4 hours. They need to drink at least 10 glasses a day to replace the lost fluids. If the person is elderly, the replacement needs to be done slowly and a doctor needs to be called immediately. If the person is vomiting, they should try ice chips, popsicles, or small sips of fluid.
You out there today?
I had to stop. I was really getting tired and dizzy.
I mean, those sound like symptoms for dehydration. It was really warm out there, so it's a good thing we got the water into you.
Ever since I came home, though, I was really nauseous and breathing heavily.
Dehydration often leads into heat stroke, and that sounds like you have those symptoms. We should get you to the hospital right away. For now, we'll just get you into the cool shade. Come on.
As we have seen in the last clip, Jordan was also suffering from heat stroke due to his mild dehydration. The two go hand in hand. Heat stroke results from prolonged exposure to high temperatures, which lead to failure of the body's temperature control system. Signs and symptoms of heat stroke include headache, dizziness, lack of sweating despite the heat, red, hot, dry skin, nausea, vomiting, and unconsciousness.
The way to deal with first aid of heat stroke is to call 911 and transport that patient to the hospital immediately. Any delay in seeking medical help can be fatal. You have to move that person to a cool, shady, or air-conditioned environment and remove any unnecessary clothing. You may want to try these cooling tips. Fan over the patient while wetting his or her skin with water. Put on ice packs to the patient's armpit, groin, neck, and back, as these are the areas blood vessels are closest to the skin. Also,
I think we should stop. I think I'm getting a hot spot.
I know I have one, I just didn't want to stop.
Man, you should have told me. If that gets open, it could get infected. Sit down. I have alcohol wipes, second skin, and moleskin. Let me take a look. How come you don't have a sock on? That's added protection.
Blisters are another part of wilderness first aid. It is important to note that when traveling in a group, someone should always take first aid incentive. In the last clip, we see Stephen say he has developed a hot spot. This in turn brings Jordan out to say that he had a busted blister on the back of his heel. Jordan should have stopped the group earlier, before his blister was an open wound. Open wounds are a cause for infection. People do not always like to slow down the group. This is why they don't take initiative and say that there is something wrong.
to prevent blisters, it is important to use gloves, socks, bandages, or protection in covering the area that is being rubbed. An important point to note is that Stephen sat Jordan down and Jordan did not have a sock on. Stephen offered Jordan an alcohol swab to clean the blister, then put second skin over it and then a moleskin to protect the wounded area.
This is Chafe reporting live for Goals Television. Today I'm going to talk to you about properly stocking a first aid kit for a camping trip. Minor injuries and illnesses can ruin a camping trip if you don't have a first aid kit stocked with proper medical supplies. Although buying a first aid kit is an option, if you make your own, you will save yourself money and time by stocking medication, tools, and bandages from your own household.
The first step in stocking a first aid kit is collecting the basic bandage items. These could be blister pads, sterile gauze and rolls and pads, elastic bandages for wrapping sprains, medical tape, adhesive bandages in different sizes, including butterfly bandages, which will hold the edges of a deep cut together, triangular bandages to create slings or to hold dressings in place on the torso. The second step is to include items to help sterilize wounds and prevent infection. This could be cotton swabs, balls or pads, antibacterial cream, alcohol prep wipes, or disinfecting towelettes or hand sanitizing gel to clean your hands before administering first aid. The third step is to add a variety of over-the-counter medications to your kit and a variety of sprays and creams. This could be pain relievers such as Tylenol and Advil, medication for digestive distress such as diarrhea, nausea, and heartburn, and allergy medications. Also, anti-itch creams or sprays, particularly those that help relieve itching and pain from bug bites and contact with poisonous plants, burn relief sprays, and petroleum jelly for chafing. The fourth step is to include medical instruments and tools such as tweezers, scissors, safety pins to use with triangular bandages, and a digital thermometer. The fifth step is to finish stocking your camping first aid kit by adding other essential items such as sterile disposable gloves, a small flashlight for administering first aid at night, and a first aid manual. When assembling a first aid kit, obtain a watertight container. This can range from a large reclosable zipper plastic bag to a rigid plastic tub with a tight fitting lid, depending on the type of camping you will be doing. For example, if you are backpacking to your campsite, a plastic tub may not fit into your pack. Place your first aid supplies into reclosable plastic bags. Sort your supplies so everything you might need for a particular situation is in one bag. For instance, the bag with adhesive bandages should also contain antibacterial cream and sterile gloves. Clearly label each bag with a thick black marker so you won't have to search through several bags to find what you need. And lastly, fill the watertight container with the bags, making sure they all fit and the lid goes on securely.
Some other helpful tips for packing a first aid kit are: after you return from your camping trip, check your camping first aid kit and restock it. Take a first aid class and get certified in CPR before the camping trip. Having this knowledge can save the life of a fellow camper. Include water purification tablets in your camping first aid kit. If you get lost, these tablets can purify found water sources and prevent severe illness and disease that unpurified water can cause.
We want to thank Stephen and Jordan for letting us tag along on their weekend and using this as a wilderness first aid safety segment. It was important to show how Stephen was prepared while Jordan did not always wear the proper attire.
Because Jordan was not prepared, he suffered from mild dehydration along with a heat stroke. If he had wore proper footwear, he may not have developed the hot spots. Well, that's it for today, folks. Please join us next week on the Go in the Ghouls, where we do a segment on fishing and camping. It was great to have you with us. This is Chafe and Brianne reporting live for Blues Television.